AI racing can be an invaluable tool in the arsenal of any sim racer. For me, it's something I use as an opportunity to learn new tracks and hone my racecraft before jumping into online lobbies. But as with anything, there's good AI and bad AI, and that begs the question, which sim title has the best AI? To answer this, I've gone and tested these 6 main sim racing titles on the market today to see which one offers the best AI racing experience for its users. To do this, I wanted to find a car and track combo that I could apply throughout all the titles being tested, which turned out to be the Nürburgring GT GP layout paired with the Mercedes AMG GT3. For each test, the AI was set to maximum aggression, with the difficulty set to the highest number possible, while still allowing me to keep up in battle. Now all we have to do is get out on track. Before we do, if at any point you find this content enjoyable, consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel for more. Now let's get into it. So number 6 on the list is RaceRoom Racing Experience. One of my all-time favourite sims, although I've never been a fan of its AI. They have an extremely bad habit of braking way too early in heavy braking zones, while seemingly refusing to protect the inside line and leaving it wide open for you to simply brake later and claim the position. And it's this that unfortunately places it solely at the back of this list, as no matter how good the AI racing experience is in a straight line, the moment you get to a heavy braking zone, you're almost guaranteed the position before you ever get a glimpse of an apex. And sure, they will squeeze you, but that's only after you've taken the corner from them. This is even with RaceRoom's adaptive AI function, which will take the average speed of all the tracks you've done in the particular class you're racing in and adapt the AI to suit your skill level. But even with that function, it won't sort out the massive issue of the cars just offering up the corner under braking, making this, in my opinion, the least effective sim to effectively practice one of the most important skills in racing, which is passing under braking. On the flip side, I've seen plenty of people rating RaceRoom as having some of the best AI in sim racing. I suppose it somewhat comes down to personal preference in a way. But for me, there's better titles out there to get your AI racing fix, which brings us on to number 5 in this list. Assetto Corsa Competizione finds itself in number 5 on this list for the fact that there's both nothing spectacular about its AI experience, but also nothing horribly wrong with it. It just feels a little sterile. The AI are way too nice, even at 100% aggression, most of the time leaving the inside of the corner wide open for you to simply go alongside and steal the optimal line. Equally, when you get within a foot or two of the opponent's car in battle, they'll aggressively turn away from you to avoid any form of close contact racing, which I mean isn't necessarily a bad thing in of itself, but who doesn't like a little door banging every now and then? AI on AI battling tends to be a rarity, and it can sometimes feel like a bit of a formation train at times. There's not one moment where I'm squeezed into a corner or having to defend heavily in a braking zone. It's all just a bit vanilla. They'll keep it side by side through the corners, sure, but I like my AI with a little bit of aggression. The reason it's placed ahead of a RaceRoom is for the fact that the AI just tends to act a little bit more realistic in the heavy braking zones when defending. They'll brake late and hold the optimal line the majority of the time, however when seemingly on your tail, you'll never see them go for a late move. An okay experience, but there's better to be had. Automobilista 2 falls into pretty much a similar category as ACC before, with most things yet again just feeling a little bland. However, there are some positive differences in how the AI behaves. Most notably, they will race you harder in close quarters and don't give up their track position as easily. They can run alongside through multiple corners and even tend to brake early in an attempt to perform switchbacks on exit. As you'll see here, as the BMW almost lets us have the corner with the intention of getting a better run towards the straight. Not really working out for it that time, as the car behind actually gets a run on both of us. But here again is where we see a similar issue to ACC, as no matter how strong the car behind is looking towards the next corner, you'll never see a strong attempt at an overtake. And this just takes away from the momentary immersion of close battle and dampens the overall experience. Because attacking is fun, but when you have to defend, that's where the real excitement comes in. However, even with its issues, I still find Automobilista 2 an incredibly entertaining sim to play. and with the AMS2 devs bringing incremental AI updates to the title every few months, I can only expect what is already a great sim title to start to offer an even better and more realistic AI experience for its dedicated users in the near future. Now I should explain myself here, as the original version of this video, which was uploaded without this commentary, had the original Assetto Corsa placed in 5th. But when I actually viewed the footage from this race for the voiceover, it soon became apparent that in terms of immersion, Assetto Corsa trumped ACC, AMS2 and RaceRoom. I should also mention that the selection of this track was partly because it was part of the core track offering when Assetto Corsa was released, meaning the AI behaviour has been programmed by the original developers, meaning they're much less erratic and more predictable than you might experience on some modded tracks, hence why Assetto Corsa AI can sometimes get a bad rep. But here, AI on AI battles are commonplace and really adds to the immersion. They're assertive when challenged, going defensive and sticking to the inside line on corners. As you can see here with the Mercedes ahead of us actually holding quite a strong defense around turns 5 and 6. This assertiveness is what has been missing in the previous 3 sims and really adds a lot to the racing experience. On the flip side, give them an inch into a corner and they'll gladly take the apex from you. As seen here with the Mercedes previously passed, it runs up the inside and snatches the position back from us at the beginning of the next lap. This is racing. But the next sim takes all of this and does it even better. Number 2 on this list is rFactor 2, one of my favourite sims to play against AI. What I love about it is that they'll fight door to door with you for the racing line, often squeezing you into corners and slamming the door shut if you're not committed enough when making a move. As is perfectly demonstrated here as we try to get the switch back on the Bentley ahead on the exit of T4. And even though we get a great run on the straight down towards turn 5, when we look to the inside, the Bentley slams the door shut and holds the optimal line. And for real world practice, this is exactly what we need from AI opponents. Realistic and assertive movements when challenged into a corner. Also see here as the BMW compromised on exit ahead of us, sticks to his line and leads me towards the edge of the track as we approach the Schumacher SS, forcing me to back out as he takes the optimal line, but we attempt to stick it around the outside and we do claim the position. A little bit of door banging in between, but that's just hard racing and a testament to how close and how hard the AI within rFactor 2 will race. I had a smile on my face throughout the entire 3 laps originally recorded for this video, but as fun as it was, even still rFactor 2 can't replicate quite what number 1 on this list can for a truly immersive AI racing experience. And speaking of which, let's check out which sim claims number 1 spot on this list. The king of AI racing right now, however, has to be iRacing. Why? They don't compromise. They pass when given an inch, they shut the door when possible, and most importantly, they behave on track just like you'd expect high-level competitors to behave. Unlike some of the other titles, the AI frequently go head-to-head jostling for position, frequently making mistakes and occasionally wrecking, making it a truly immersive experience that really does go unchallenged by any of the other titles in this list, as there's rarely a moment when playing where I feel like I'm racing against AI cars. There's no erratic behaviour, the cars brake where they should, they stick to their line when you get close, and I still get that nervous feeling when performing the parade lap before the green light. Everything about the AI experience in iRacing matches the high stakes feeling of the real official races. You can even go as far as creating a completely custom roster of AI to compete against, including custom skins and liveries, and adjustable driver personalities and skills. This, in my opinion, is the closest you can get to real competitive online sim racing with AI competitors.
And there you have it, my tier list of the best AI in sim racing. But now I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with the order of this list? And if not, what would you change based on your experience? Let me know in the comment section down below. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future sim racing content. YouTube tells me that 88.8% of you who regularly view my content are not subscribed. So if you enjoy the content I make, consider subscribing. It's free and keeps me motivated to keep creating. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.